Hello. Well, it's summertime. And for some people, that might mean going on vacation. For kids, that means it's time for school to be over with until the fall. But for 7 kids, it meant something else. For them, it was a nightmarish experience into a creepy house in a sewer system to face off against something dark and dangerous. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. All right, and we're back with the third and final part of this It franchise review. Now I'm going to talk about the book. But before I start, I just want to say, in total transparency, I love the book. But the book was not my first introduction into it. The order I saw these, or read, or whatever, was the following. When I was young, I saw the miniseries. Then I heard about It Chapter 1 coming out. And I had tried to read the book a few times, but just due to life and complications in life, I never got a chance to sit down and just read the book. But I finally got my hands on the audiobook. So in preparation for the new movie coming out, I listened to the audiobook. And I have listened to that audiobook probably almost like every other summer. I'll probably listen to it at some point during this summer. Then I saw the new movies. Now, I've already told you what my thoughts on the new movie was. The new movies are okay. They're not as good as the miniseries. They're good in their own way. But I have some problems with them. I also like the miniseries quite a bit. But I have some problems with that too after reading the book. And that's what we're going to dive in today. So, if you are not familiar, let me just give you a quick rundown of the story. And the story goes like this. 7 kids get harassed by it. It is stealing children and eating them to survive. And they go into the sewers to fight it. They fight it and it's defeated. Or they believe it's defeated. So they go back to their lives. They grow up. Most of them leave town except for Mike. He stays behind, kind of like a watch guard, to make sure it never returns. But when it does return, he calls back all his friends and brings them back to town so they can all fight it, except for Stan, who kills himself in the bathtub, and they all go back down into the sewers to fight it, and this time they actually defeat it once and for all. Now, among all 3 iterations that I've seen, the book by far is the best one. I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. If you don't want to watch the rest of this video, this is a 10 out of 10. If you've been watching my channel, anytime I rate a book or review a book, normally I do 10-star rating. Well, this is 10 stars. But for this, since we're putting this against the other movies and seeing which ones line up where, this is 5 stars. In that aspect. But if I was just judging the book on its own, it would be 10. Now, in both of my previous videos, I told you to remember the Georgie scene, which is pretty much the same in both movies. And it's pretty much the same here. It almost goes word for word everything that basically happens, yeah, there's a couple differences in exactly what is said, but it's basically the same. I think in the movies, he says, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown. Whereas I believe in the book, he says, I'm Bob Gray, also known as Pennywise the dancing clown. But both are very similar. There's not a whole lot of differences in those two scenes. And that's what I really want to focus on today. Is how do you take a book and adapt it into a movie? Because I'll tell you this, a lot of adaptations I've seen from books to movies do not work. And in Hollywood, they keep trying. But there are a couple that stand out to the crowd. The first Harry Potter, and I know I talked about Harry Potter previously, but really look at the very first Harry Potter movie, then really look at the book. They are practically identical. And it works so good. It became such a huge success. There was no reason to deviate. Game of Thrones, the first few seasons followed the books. But eventually they got to a point where they ran out of books because the writer was taking forever. So they had to go their own way. And since they did that, it failed. It went down hardcore. So it's basically really quite a simple thing. If you want your movie to be a success, follow the damn book. It's not hard. The entire time I was watching the new movies, I kept thinking, oh my God, we're finally going to get to see it in its true form, and it's going to be awesome. Now, I mentioned in the first video to remember the floating children, and how Nostalgia Critic pointed out, well, in this version of it, we actually finally get to see the children floating. That would have been fine. I would have accepted it if, when they were adults, they had revealed what was really going on. And we had seen the children weren't really floating, but dangling from spider webs. Because, you know what? People keep saying, don't use a spider. It doesn't work. But that's what it is. It is a spider. An alien spider living under the town of Derry that uses its alien powers to manipulate children into coming into its lair where it can eat them. And this could work if they developed a real legitimately scary spider and not a half clown, half spider like in the newer movies, or whatever that thing was in the miniseries that looked like a bug-eyed, weird praying mantis alien thing. It did not really look much like a spider. It looked kind of funny with the eyes, almost like it was trying to be a chameleon. That was stupid. In the book, it is described as a cross between a pitch black, well, it's all pitch black, so black that it stood out in the darkened room they were in, and it had a tail similar to that of a scorpion with a huge stinger and claws. That's what it should have been in the new movies. Something terrifying. And we did not even get in either adaptation the big reveal of what it was and what Beverly realizes. So I'm going to say this right now. If you do not want the book spoiled and you want to find out what it is all on your own, then stop this right here, right now. Go read the book or listen to the book. I'm sure there's some way you can get it on Audible or go pick it up from your library or something. But check the book out before you continue on. If you've already read the book or you don't care, then I'll tell you. It is female. It is pregnant. And when they go into the last part of its lair, they find eggs all over the place. And they realize that they have to destroy not just the spider, but all the spider's eggs. Because if one hatches, it could mean the end of the world. That they could go forth to other places. Because the spider's trapped. That's why it has to use its mental abilities to lure kids down with a clown. And that's why it makes them afraid, because they taste better when they're afraid. Which is something they left in both adaptations, so I really like that. But they left out the part where it's a female, and it's pregnant, and it's trying to have children. So, why? Why do they leave this most important detail out? Now, yes, there are some aspects of the book, like what happens with the children after, that they could have left out. But this is like the most important part. This is what really makes it scary, is that this is what it is. And the whole ritual of Chud, that could have been handled much better, like it was in the book. In the book, it's a battle of wills in a mindscape in space, in the endless void of space, where they're battling. Richie and Bill are the ones who battle it, and in the mindscape. That would have been cool. Seeing the turtle. I mean, they hinted at the turtle so damn much. It would have been great to actually see the turtle. And they could have gotten a really great actress to voice the true form of it. After seeing Bill Skarsgård do it for so long, it would have been so interesting to see a female, a really good voice of a female, from some big actress voicing it in its true form. And it would have looked a lot better than that ridiculous half clown, half spider. It would have looked a lot better than the thing we got from the miniseries. That's why it doesn't work. That's why it will never work. Because if you're not going to do it the way the book did, then you're asking for failure right then and there. I am a big fan of horror. And I don't know if I've necessarily talked about this in the past, but there are certain things when you're going to take a movie or a franchise and reboot it. If you really want to reboot it, stick to the best parts. Because that's what sold it the first time. If you're going to do the ending, that's all I'm saying. Follow it to the letter. Do what the book did. They've laid it out for you. It's right there. I love the end of the book. They fight it in the mindscape. Yes, one character dies. But they fight it in the mindscape. They win. They destroy the eggs. They get out. And when they get out, the town starts to fall apart. That's another thing I didn't like. in both adaptations, there's no fallout from defeating it. There's no, oh my god, it's finally over. Yeah, it's destroying half the town. That's what made the end so impactful, is that they have to get not just out of the sewer, they kind of got to get mostly out of town because the town is falling apart from the influence of it. The influence and protection it was casting over this town. How deep it had its claws sunk in. And that's how they truly know in the book that it is dead. It's not coming back. So that's where that pin goes, where I said, remember the end of each movie, because you know what? They didn't follow the end of the book. And then everybody keeps wondering why the end sucks. Well, the end sucks because, well, guess what? You're not going to follow the end of the book. The book did well. The book is one of Stephen King's best stories. Why do you think people keep reading it? Why do you think people keep watching the movies? Every time in these two movies that they did something straight from the book, it was perfect. It matched up so well. That's what we wanted to see. But when you change things, people don't want to see the change. They want to see the book brought to life. They want to see the book unfold before their eyes and see if what they mentally pictured matches up with your movie. I know that's how I look at it. And maybe I'm just a minority here. I don't know. But to me, the book had the best ending. The book was the better ending of these three different forms. So, enjoy your summer. I will keep putting out more videos throughout the summer. On July 4th, I will be releasing a special ranking video where I'm going to rank all of the Purge movies. So I hope you'll come back and join me for that video. I want to thank you all for watching. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel and you want to be notified the second a new video goes up, please be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified as soon as new videos are ready and loaded up. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you next time.
Kiss me, fat boy.